Hi folks, it's Six Lighters here. It's another knife in my high-end knife series. Again, a custom knife, which is particularly attractive. As I said before, I don't really do unboxings, but we're going to take it out the pouch that it comes in here, and we'll have a little look at it. But before I do, I always forget to do this at the beginning, but please, if you like this stuff, give it a tick, give it a like, and make a comment. Helps the algorithm a lot. And if you would like to see more of these, please subscribe. It really does help, and it costs you nothing. You just have to tick the box and remember to ring the bell if you want to actually get notifications, which hopefully you will, but you never know. YouTube being YouTube. Anyway, this has got a nice little pouch that it comes in, which is the only reason really I'm showing you the pouch. It's not especially special, but there we are. Put that out of the way for now. This is the knife though, and this is the JI Knives Mini Bowie. It is, it is reasonably small. It's a pocket knife, pocket-sized pocket knife. Not some great behemoth, but if you compared it to like the Hogue Decker, very similar in size. And when we get the blades out, we'll have another little look. But it's a nice knife. There's an awful lot going on here. Obviously, you will have clocked the sort of shred carbon fiber with the hints of purple in it, which is very nice. You've got bits of zirconium. The backspacer, I believe, is zirconium, and parts of the pivot collar and the studs, the thumb studs, I think, are all zirconium. This is, however, not an all carbon fiber knife. It has stainless, no it doesn't, it has titanium liners, and it's sort of a liner lock, but it's almost a frame lock. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at opening knives, and I'm getting worse, not better. You'd think I'd improve, but not. Yes, it looks, it's probably technically a liner lock, but if you look at that liner lock, it is as sturdy as most frame locks, or integral locks, or whatever we call them these days. And it the relief, although on the outside, is underneath the carbon fiber here, so it just appears as sort of three little scallops on the inside, which actually I think is quite a novel and interesting way of doing it. As with all liner locks, there's always the danger you get junk between the lock bar here and the frame, but I don't think it's a huge issue here anymore than it is with any other knife. We have this nice milled clip, which I think is zirconium, but I don't know that. But it's milled anyway, and it has, if I could only turn it over, it has screws coming through from the inside. I don't know if it's one or two screws, but it's nice and neat. Turn it around this way. You actually might be able to see it. A bit of light on there. Anyway, it's very neatly done. We have a nice, neat little back spacer. It doesn't cover too much of the knife, so it keeps it relatively clean and easy to sort of clean out and so forth. Because this knife is, I think, it's really its specialty is that it's a pocketable, usable, everyday knife that doesn't look like a huge weapon this would be a quite capable little knife of doing ordinary tasks. It's not a big knife, as I say, compared to the Oak Decker. The blade is almost identical in size, and the handle is very slightly shorter, but it's a little bit more chunky, so it feels more solid in the hand than the Decker. That being said, there are more similarities between these two knives than you might at first expect to find. These blade shapes with this sort of deep swedge there, that in the JI knives here, it gives it its name, the Mini Bowie. That looks like the swedge of a Bowie knife. But then, the Hoke's got that same sort of idea going on as well. What is slightly different is, whilst you've got a round belly in the Hoke, here you have, and I hate to use the term, but an almost tanto shape. There isn't really the sharp point that you would expect here. And as a result, I actually think it's probably better for it, because though you can use this part for cutting on a flat sort of table, if you're cutting something, you can cut like that, or use the point itself, or use parts of the belly. It's quite versatile in that respect. I should of course mention that it is as a Damascus blade. I suppose in an everyday carry knife that's relatively showy like this, although relatively subdued at the same time, it's probably fine. I have a sort of inbuilt aversion to Damascus steels. I always think they must, by necessity, be a compromise, and a compromise that is no longer necessary. A compromise that might have been necessary once upon a time, but not so much now. But anyway, this is it's a good-looking knife, but it doesn't shout at you. It's not a blingy knife in any respect of sort of flash. There's no mother of pearl. There's no gaudy colours. Nothing at all like that. It's fairly subdued, but at the same time, anybody that knows anything about a knife will see this, and it will catch their eye, and it will make them think, "Oh, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that bit closer," because that is quite a thing. So yeah, I'm rather fond of this one. This is one I'll be sad to see go back. Unfortunately, it will be going back all too soon. Anyway, yes, it's a lovely knife. Stoutish blade, but not too stout. Nice and thinly ground. Certainly very sharp. A reasonably comfortable handle. It's on the small side, but I think if you're going to carry a knife these days, it's going to be on the small side anyway, if you don't want to be accused of all sorts. For that, it's probably a good thing. My only perhaps concern with it is a little on the heavy side. So if you were going out wearing a suit and you put this in your pocket, you would you'd know it was there. But I don't know if that matters to everybody. If you're out in a pair of jeans or chinos or whatever, and it's in your trouser pocket, you wouldn't notice it at all. And I suppose the only other downside to it, the only other thing that lowers it in my book, is it's right hand only. Despite the fact that being a liner lock rather than a frame lock, it could be ambidextrous. It's just that the clip is the problem. And it's one of, but not the only reasons why I'm not a big fan of clips in the first place. But if you have them, it'd be nice if they were ambidextrous. That being said, I should have said actually, this is a lovely smooth clip. It's curved in every direction, chamfered on every edge, so there's nothing to get caught up on, and it doesn't look bad. Sometimes you look at the clips and you think they look like an afterthought, this one looks like it belongs there. So if you were using this knife in your left hand, you wouldn't look at that and think, oh dear. You could look at that and say that's maybe an extra design feature. It does look nice. It's not necessarily a long hand-filling knife, but it's got a good girth to it to give it some grip. I like this, and I'll be sad to see it go. But go it will. And thank you all for watching. And like I said at the beginning, if you could give it a like, if you would like to make a comment, even if you just do a wee thumbs up in the comments, that helps the algorithm no end. And obviously subscriptions are useful. We're getting up towards 3,000. It would be quite nice to see it go a little bit quicker rather than the slow haul that it's been so far. But I understand this is a niche interest, and not all of you will be interested in everything that I have to show. But please, if you feel you can, please subscribe. No cost, no charge. It just gives you notifications that when I'm here. Okay, thank you very much, folks. Goodbye.